Do you guys like Diamond City?
Stop playing around, Danny. I'm standing out in the open here for crying out loud.
I got orders not to let you in, Miss Piper. I'm sorry. I'm just doing my job.
Ooh, just doing your job. Ooh, just doing your job. Ooh, just doing your job.
Well, do you guys like Goodneighbor?
You hand over everything you got in their pockets, or accidents start happening to you. Big, bloody accidents.
If someone steps through the gate the first time, they're a guest. You lay off that extortion crap.
What do you care? You ain't one of us.
No love for your Nathan. I said let go.
Just don't get out. You keep letting outsiders walk all over us. One day, you'll be a new man.
Come on, man. This is me we're talking about. Let me tell you something.
Well, that's just great, because boy do I have the perfect video for you today. Today, in this video, I thought it would be nice to see what it's like to live in Goodneighbor versus what it's like to live in Diamond City. And from there, we can compare the two together to see which one is truly the superior city to live in. So that just in case the bombs do drop, and you happen to be in America and Boston,
Everyone hang on!
then you know exactly which city to go to in the event that nuclear war starts and we get the exact same timeline as the Fallout universe. So without further ado, let's jump straight into this. Before I continue with this video, a like and subscribe would be very much appreciated. I thank you guys ever so much for the support in the last video, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you guys ever so much for watching, and don't forget to comment down below which city you prefer to live in. Okay, so you want to move to these two fine cities? Well, we all know that location is very important. Diamond City is located around the center of Boston. Okay, fine, maybe it's more to the left outer end of Boston, but still, you get my point. It's Diamond City, you know, it's actually kind of weird. They call it the Great Big Jewel of the Commonwealth, but it's actually kind of like not in the center at all. Anyway, sorry, I'm going off track. It's protected by a massive large green wall that you literally can't miss. The wall itself is, of course, the Boston Stadium. It's easy to get around the outside of Diamond City as there are guards and it's fairly safe. Mind you, there is still a bit of trouble with there being a super mutant camp and also some rabid dogs around the outside of the city. However, Diamond City security normally clear those guys up pretty quickly. It also helps that Diamond City is guarded with turrets, and like I said, it's a massive green stadium, so locating it in the massive city should be pretty easy as it stands out like a great big green jewel. So overall, the city is not that hard to find and in a great location, as this part of Boston seems to be pretty safe for the most part considering where Goodneighbor is located. Now Goodneighbor on the other hand is an actual nightmare to get to. It's located literally straight in the center of Boston around the skyscraper zone where the most amount of chaos, carnage, and killing is located. And Goodneighbor itself is basically just a small block of buildings with a wall around it. So it's really hard to find because there's not really much advertising for the city / town other than the literal sign outside the front door. The outside of the town has no guards, no turrets, so good luck trying to rush in whilst you have a pack of wild dogs chasing you. You'll have to get past super mutants, wild dogs, schools, maybe even raiders. The list goes on to actually try to get to Goodneighbor. Also, doesn't help the fact that the place doesn't visibly stand out whatsoever. It literally just looks like another part of the wasteland. So I'm gonna give the point to Diamond City for location. Okay, so you know something really important? That's right, housing. Housing is very important. So first off, let's talk about what sort of house you'll be getting in one of these two fine cities in the Commonwealth. What your house will look like and what the living conditions will be like. So let's start off with Diamond City. Diamond City houses are basically little shacks made up from scraps that the people have made and placed into the stadium. They are all tightly packed together, mostly in the center area of Diamond City. They can range in sizes, from them being very small to them being very big with 2 stories. Man, that's quite good for the wasteland if I say so myself. Now, you see, Diamond City is quite unique because while you have all the normal houses, little, big, you know, 1 floor, 2 floors, you also then have the high-rise houses. The houses where the rich of the rich lives, the stands houses. Up in the stands of the old stadium is where you'll find the best of the best houses, accompanied by a restaurant local to the houses. This offers some much needed variety when searching for a property in Diamond City. Now, they can be a bit dirty and you'll have to furnish them yourself, but overall, I think this is pretty great if you want a house. They're all reasonably priced and you actually get a choice between small, big, 2 floors, or a high-rise. Let's just forget about the fact that Diamond City has some horrific inequalities in terms of wealth distribution, with there being one section of the city that is completely covered in poor people whose houses are literally just mattresses they sleep on the floor.
Hey, that's fucked up.
By the way, I will be covering the economy of these cities. However, if you want a much more in-depth video on this, I would really recommend checking out SuperTube. I literally found his video whilst editing this, and he is great. I used one of his clips earlier, so go show him some love, go check him out. He does a great video on Diamond City. Goodneighbor's housing is quite a bit different to Diamond City's. Now, they don't use their own built houses from scraps and other materials they found. Oh no, they use the actual houses that survived the nuclear bombing of Boston. Now, these houses are almost like flats, so you won't really get a large room per person, or even a large house for that matter. Also, there's no wealth distribution really in Goodneighbor. There's no highly rich person, or if there is, they blend in extremely well. The only exception to this I can think of is the actual mayor, who you can tell is highly wealthy, but anyone who's poor, they don't really seem to exist because there's literally nowhere for them to go. So the type of house you'll be buying is narrowed down to literally one kind, considering that's all Goodneighbor really has to offer. Now, that being said, the houses you do get in some ways are a lot better than Diamond City's. Think about it, they're actually built to be sustainable. What I mean by this is they have wooden floors, they already have some utensils built in, and they're easier to wire for things like electric and actually make feel more like a home. They're probably also a lot more warmer and keep out the wet a lot better. But at the same time, you have no choice. If you're super rich, you can't buy a luxury property, and if you're super poor, you can't really buy anywhere that's for super poor people. I mean, I guess that's not quite true. There is one part of the town which is dedicated to poor people, so there is a poor section, but it's very limiting compared to what Diamond City's poor section is. In fact, in Goodneighbor, to be honest with you, I don't really even know where anyone lives, because there's not really an underlining house anywhere in Goodneighbor. But houses do come across as cozy in the few cases I've seen that there are some. Overall, both settlements here have houses and options, but I'm going to give the point to Diamond City, because in Diamond City, if you're poor, you can at least afford somewhere to stay. If you're rich, you can upgrade to somewhere more luxurious.
This is a country where we speak English. Fuck you!
Also in Goodneighbor, we don't know what the property value is like, so just a thing to throw out there.
I bought a property in Egypt, and what they do for you is they give you the property.
Hey, yo, chill the fuck out, yo. You sitting there playing with...
Now, I can imagine when moving into a new area of any kind, one of your top priorities is knowing how safe it is and knowing what sort of crimes happen in that neighborhood.
What do you got? Can you get in?
Ron Menendez is transmitting a live webcast. He's on right now.
I am going to commit great crime. I'm going to bust nut in Watertown.
So let's talk about each city/town, starting off with Diamond City. Diamond City has its own security force, called Diamond City Security. No, I'm not joking. They're in charge of protecting the city from both outside and inside. They have quite good armor. They seem to be polite people.
Keep some weird company, lady. Androids, reporters, dogs. Know any gorillas?
And also are seen carrying baseball bats, and also have a pipe weapon that can be drawn if necessary. Diamond City Security are pretty good, to be fair to them. They seem to be on the ball with dealing with crime, and often always seen trying their best to keep the peace within the city. They even have a police station where people can go to prison/jail. They're organized and their operations normally go down well. Not to mention, Nick Valentine also lives in Diamond City, so if you have anyone go missing or any mysteries that need solved by a professional detective, you can trust on the best detective in the Commonwealth to try and help you out. While this technically isn't a feature of Diamond City itself within the security force, it is a feature of the city, because Nick Valentine lives in Diamond City and that's where his business resides, and he gets on well with the mayor. Now, in terms of crime itself in the city, I would have to say there is not much, but that's kind of a lie. Crime can be quite high. Like I said, I'd like to say there's not much, because on the outside it doesn't look like there is, but unfortunately there is quite a bit. Not so much in the poor areas or in the stands of Diamond City, more in the very central area of the city itself. I mean, one of the first things you see is someone's head get blown off.
Sith! He'll kill us all!
Kyle, no!
But that is by the security, so kind of a win, I guess. The most rampant crimes being murder, kidnapping, theft, and of course, the odd assault charge. The city, though, is well protected, but can still be quite dangerous. I feel like the security do the best that they can, and it is a much more significantly big city compared to Goodneighbor, so they will naturally have more crimes in Diamond City. The guards truly seem to try their best. They're polite people, they're well armored and well armed, and they protect the city from both the outside and the inside. While crime can be a big issue, if anything severely goes wrong, you can always go to Nick Valentine, who is almost guaranteed to solve all your life's problem because he's just that good, and he always offers a helping hand.
You're dead.
Goodneighbor kind of has security. Well, I say kind of because, not really. I don't really know what they actually do, to be honest. They kind of just stand there with Tommy guns and just let all crime under the sun happen. But, yeah, not really sure what they do.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you.
We don't care.
I mean, the first thing you witness when you enter Goodneighbor is a man trying to fucking rob you with a knife, and the Goodneighbor security stand there and just watch him do it, and they do absolutely nothing. Until the Mayor Hancock shows up and then just stabs the dude to death, and Goodneighbor security is still like, no, I don't really care, to be honest.
We do not care.
So, I don't really know what the security actually do in Goodneighbor other than stand there with some old ass suits looking kind of cool. But hey, there's murders, robbings, heavy drug use, and a massive problem with theft. So it probably has a lot more crime than Diamond City, and it also has less of a security force, I guess. The security force also don't have a prison or a jail, so there's actually nowhere for them to put bad people in Goodneighbor. They just sort of have to just live with it, I guess. I mean, I guess it's shoot on sight, because in the rare case you do see the guards do anything, they do tend to shoot on sight, but that being said, you never really see the fucking guards do anything. There's literally nowhere for people to go who are bad, so yeah, I don't really know what they do, and I don't really know what the guards do in a crime issue, because they don't seem to do anything. There's literal crime happening everywhere in Goodneighbor under their noses, and they don't seem to react whatsoever. The only place that kind of seems and feels somewhat safe in Goodneighbor is the fucking saloon downstairs, because, and the only reason for this is because the doorman had psychic hearing, and if anything goes on at the bottom of that saloon, somehow that motherfucker knows about it. I don't know how, but he's down there in a flash. He needs to be the Silver Shroud, okay? Because he's just somehow, he must have super hearing. I don't know what the guy has, but he just knows when something's going down. From like 8 miles away, he'll know.
Pam, would you come over here a minute?
Is there a problem, Miss Magnolia?
No, this fine gentleman here was just looking for Imogene. Do you happen to know where that preacher fella came from?
Brother Thomas.
So, to be honest, both cities/settlements have quite a lot of crime, but I'm definitely gonna have to give this one to Diamond City, because at least their security fucking try, okay? Goodneighbor might as well, if you took Goodneighbor's security away and just replaced it with the doorman and the mayor, nothing changes. In fact, probably things get better. You know something really important? Like something really important that humans need to live? That's right, food, and more importantly, water.
I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
This is what you want. So, let's get it. Enough talk.
So let's talk about Diamond City first in terms of food and water. Luckily for you, living in Diamond City, you'll have access to a large lake of water which is being filtrated and cleaned by some sort of water pump for the people of the city to drink. If you want something more alcoholic, of course, you can go to a bar or restaurant, which there are many of around the town. But what about food? Food in Diamond City is also something that they freshly grow, which is incredibly nice to see. Fresh fruits and vegetables are grown on the poorer district of Diamond City. If you want freshly made meat, there is a butcher in the town center of Diamond City who is clearly local to the area. And if you're looking for something more extravagant, you can visit the many restaurants and established bars around the city in which you can get pretty much whatever sort of food you want. It's important to note that you can also get both food and drinks from many of the stalls within Diamond City's actual center. So getting food and water in Diamond City is actually pretty easy. The water seems to be clean and filtrated correctly, and there's local food, meats, and even vegetables grown on the city. Now, let's talk about Goodneighbor. Okay, let me start off by being honest with you. Can you buy food and water at Goodneighbor? Yes, you can. However, does that mean it's very clear where you can get food and water from? No, it is not. Okay, so food is quite simple. You can clearly get food from bars and different areas in Goodneighbor that actually sell food product. This makes sense to me. However, it doesn't make sense where they actually get their food from. There's one stew at the back of Goodneighbor in the poorer section of the town, if you can even call it a poorer section, but it doesn't really explain where they get their food from. I assume it's either all imported or hunted, but I don't really get it because there's no local seller. It all just seems to just appear at bars or in shops. I assume it's imported in. Water, on the other hand, I also have absolutely no idea how they get water in. You can buy water from the bar, especially downstairs and in other shops. However, there's no signs of any water filtration system. Also, you are in the literal middle of Boston, so there's no signs of any water lakes or water sources in Goodneighbor. This leads me to believe they get water exported in. Now, there is a single water pump in Goodneighbor itself, but I don't really understand how this can provide water for the entire town. It's like literally one pump. Also, where does the water come from? Okay, sure, they get it from the ground, I guess, but that can't be very filtrated, right, for the entirety of the town, and that definitely cannot serve the entirety of the town. So that obviously brings me to the conclusion that Goodneighbor must export water, or import water rather, into its town. But from where? From where, I have absolutely no idea. Now, Diamond City would be a logical decision, however, Goodneighbor and Diamond City do not get on, so I highly doubt that the mayor of Goodneighbor would want to do business with the mayor of Diamond City. So that makes me wonder where they get water from. I assume maybe Bunker Hill. The water system in Goodneighbor is very tricky to say the least. I don't really know where it comes from. But, to be honest, can you get water from both Goodneighbor and Diamond City? Yes. Can you get both food from Goodneighbor and Diamond City? Yes, you can. So I'm going to award a point to each of them, even though Goodneighbor doesn't really make any sense how you actually get water into the town. Now let's take a look at both Goodneighbor and Diamond City's income and economy. Let's first start with Diamond City. Diamond City seems to have quite a strong economy. The city is the main hub of trade around the Commonwealth. We know this as every faction in the game will visit Diamond City throughout the game and even take influence over it by the end of the game. Diamond City is the main point of influence across the Commonwealth. This just shows how diverse, how many people live here, and how talked about this city truly is. Their clear form of income is of course the market square where all of their trade and shops are. However, they also have many other ways of gaining income, such as pubs, restaurants, hotels, and even inns. The city is clearly very well off, with a very vibrant property market and a very vibrant distribution of wealth from poor to rich. Diamond City at no point is clearly struggling and can afford many things that other places in the Commonwealth simply don't have the luxury to. Diamond City is clearly a well-off city that has a lot of income. Goodneighbor's economy is very interesting to say the least. It gets its most amount of wealth, I think, from the actual Memory Den and the Third Rail Bar, two tourist attractions within Goodneighbor. Well, I suppose you could call them tourist attractions.
Glad you need the Memory Den. Do you even know what we do here?
Does it involve a back room and a handful of singles? Making it rain?
Oh, you have the wrong idea, honey. I don't sell skin. I sell memories. And let me tell you, reliving an experience, the right experience, it's far more intense than anything else.
Yep, well, that was fucking pretty intense. As well as some other shops that are littered around Goodneighbor, and even a hotel/inn. It's clear that Goodneighbor must take in a decent amount of money from its shops and tourist attractions, as there is quite a strange spread of wealth distribution, and the mayor of Goodneighbor seems to have quite a bit of money himself. However, they're naturally not going to have more money or take in a higher income than Diamond City, because Diamond City is literally the hub of the Commonwealth. It's really kind of unfair to compare them in economy. Diamond City has the bigger population, it's used by the factions of the Commonwealth, so overall their wealth won't be comparable in terms of who has more money. So I'm going to reward a point to both of them here, because they both clearly make enough income to actually profit, or at least it seems that way. While you could question what Goodneighbor actually spends its funding on, I mean, we could do that, I'm not going to, but at least they do both seem to make an actual profit. So I'm going to give a point to each of them for that. Let's talk about a topic that I know a lot of you will be interested in, and that is a fun topic. That is, what is there to actually do in both Diamond City and Goodneighbor? How much can you do? What is there to see? Okay, so first off, let's talk about Diamond City, because this is a large city. You would think there would be a lot to do here. Well, there kind of is. You can visit restaurants, bars, you can go get your hair cut and see a doctor. Imagine that. You're able to see a doctor in a town or city. I bet none of you are able to do that. Listen, okay, I have to use it as a point because Goodneighbor, you can't see a doctor. You can have a lovely day shopping around the market. You can even go to the Diamond City radio if you want to, I guess. Yeah, I'm really struggling now, actually. Now that I think about it, Diamond City really, in our terms, like nowadays, really just is a normal-ass town. Like, these are really normal things you'd expect. I mean, I guess from a tourist point of view, the Great Green Jewel might be interesting. You know, the Diamond City Wall and the market, maybe, if that's famous. And maybe even the radio station. But, nope, that's it's kind of it, really. It's not really any like massive tourist attractions other than like looking, standing at things and going, wow, that's cool, I've heard about that. So, actually now that I think about it, kind of disappointed. I mean, you can get facial reconstruction if you want that. I mean, that's, oh, no, I wouldn't do that,
Down here, but that's okay. I can fix that. I can fix anything.
What did you do to Earl Sterling, Doctor?
What did I do? I didn't do anything. It was Earl.
Right.
Good patients get a nice new face.
Now, to be honest, now that I think about it, there's actually quite a bit to do within Goodneighbor. You have, of course, the Memory Den and the Third Rail, which seem like very popular tourist locations to me at least, as these places are always filled, and the Commonwealth doesn't really offer it anywhere else. I mean, sure, the Third Rail is just a bar/restaurant at the end of the day, but the Memory Den is actually something quite special. Nowhere else in the Commonwealth does a service quite like this, so I can imagine it could be quite popular. This, of course, would bring in great income for Goodneighbor, and also ensure that the town gets many new visitors, even if they're not locals. You can also go shopping in Goodneighbor, and there is also even a hotel to stay in. You can also take a lot of jet. Yeah, just be a complete druggie and no one will care whatsoever.
The stuff, not gonna touch the stuff, never touch the stuff. That was a lie.
Funny enough, there is no other restaurants other than the Third Rail, and there's not even a doctor. So if you get into any trouble in Goodneighbor, good luck. You might as well be in America and be a minimum wage person trying to phone an ambulance. So this one's quite difficult. I think it would be funner to spend time in Goodneighbor. I mean, that's where I would personally like to go. Go to the Memory Den, you know, go to a hotel, go to the Third Rail, you know, that's quite sick. I mean, the singer there, you know, she's quite sick. But let's be honest here. Basic human needs is definitely Diamond City, like all the shops, all the restaurants and pubs, a doctor, hairdresser, so it's quite difficult. So I'm actually going to award them both a point here, because it really depends on preference. If you want to know you're safe, or safer at least, having a doctor, being able to have a haircut, restaurants, bars everywhere, then you'd go to Diamond City. If you're just going out for the day, and you want to, you know, get completely high off jet, and go into hotels and go to the third rail and go to the memory den, then Goodneighbor's definitely your place. So they're both going to get a point in this category. In conclusion, as we can see from the scorecard, Diamond City completely wipes, and it's not really even close in terms of which city or which settlement or which town, whatever you want to call it, is the better one to live in. Goodneighbor suffers from crime, lack of basic human needs, and overall rundownness compared with Diamond City's more safe and civilized environment, and also more self-dependent place. In the end, it wasn't really a fair test anyway. Diamond City has a far greater number of population compared to Goodneighbor and is a much greater size. It's literally called the center of the Commonwealth, the Great Green Jewel. It holds the influence over the Commonwealth, and therefore it will of course have a much larger economy and much more abilities to be greater than Goodneighbor. But still, I think it's been fun to look at both of these towns in terms of living conditions, and I hope you have enjoyed comparing them just alongside me. Thank you guys ever so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Sorry if it feels a bit all over the place. Originally it was going to be a completely different video, and then after that it was going to be a completely different video, and it was supposed to be actually a lot longer, but then I trimmed the time back so it was a lot shorter, and then I thought I wanted it to still be long. Anyway, the reason why this is happening is because on the 27th I have quite a big video coming out on Bethesda Studios, the overall history of Bethesda Studios. It's quite a long video and a really in-depth one, so that's why this video might seem a bit choppy and a bit strange. I really enjoyed making it, and I wish I could have been a bit more in-depth, but I hope you guys have still enjoyed it. I've had a really fun time making it, and I hope you guys are all doing well. Comment down below which city you would rather live in and why, and tell me your favorite location from each city. I will be replying to comments as usual. Thank you guys ever so much for the support on the last video. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys ever so much for watching. Stay safe guys, and peace.